What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Across the Board, sponsored by MoneyBall Metrics. You have your three normal Monday hosts. You have myself, Alpha Dog Bets. We have JD from Line Movers, and we have Ben from We Beat the Spread. Fellas, it is a great day in sports today. A little bit of a smaller slate, but we have two CS playoff games. We have the NLCS and the ALCS. We also have a fantastic Monday Night Football game with the Bills and the Jets. We'll be going over all three games, and guys, as always, if you have any questions, you want to know about any props, any sides, any totals we do not go over, put them in the chat. We are here to help you guys. If you guys don't give us a lot of comments today, it might be a little bit shorter of a show. So help us out. Give us some comments. Let's go over the content you guys want us to go over, and let's have another big day. JD, over to you, my friend. How are you today?
Great, man. And it is nice to come on and be able to say that actually mine and Ben's actually like easy overplay. It actually did win. So, like, there's the best thing. So,
let me tell you something, JD. I was watching that game. You know I was also on that over, and it came down to the very end. You boys would have gotten a nasty text message from me if that one would have went the other way. But very good for us to hit that play. We all read that game very well. Ben, over to you. How are you today, my friend?
Doing good. Someone just closed their car door outside my house. Now my dog's going crazy, of course. But we had a great weekend. We won another UFC play, so now the UFC cards are 2-0 on winning nights in the Moneyball Metrics Discord, so hop on over in there. If you haven't yet, the MMA plays have been going very well for us so far. NFL was back and forth yesterday, ended on a high note with that last max play, but it was a great weekend overall. No complaints here. Looking forward to this good Monday night game, and we got day baseball. Who can complain about that?
Absolutely. And guys, back over to the comments. As I said when we opened, we do have a bunch of more people in here. Drop some comments today. We only have 3 games we're breaking down. So if you have any questions on any games you want us to address, put them in the comments. We're getting to everything today. Nick is in the chat saying happy Monday. We appreciate you, Nick. Over to Joe, who's always here as well. What's up, Joe? We appreciate you. Romance Ray is here. He's back in the Mets today. Ray, that's a great be in 1 second. We'll be going right to that game. And Bill, who's always here as well, he's checking in from our YouTube. If you guys are not watching on the YouTube or subscribe to our YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. There's some great content out there. Bill's saying 2 things he loves, this show and watching Dallas get dog walked. Not going to lie, I loved every single second. As somebody who was on Lions -3, what's up, Ben's dog? We say hi to Ben's dog real quick as well. But let's get into it, guys. First game we're going to be breaking down for the day is going to be the Mets-Dodgers Game 2 of the NLCS. Mets are coming into this game needing a win. They're going with Sean Manaea, who's kind of turned his career around with the Mets this year. He's 1-0 this postseason with a 2.25 ERA. On the other side is Ryan Brazier. Brazier is coming in 1-0 with a 4.91 ERA. JD, we're going to go over to you. What do you like in this Mets-Dodgers Game 2?
Yeah, like we've been talking about it a lot. Like the Mets have been like the hot team. And we've been talking about, like can the Mets actually go the whole way? And but now I think we kind of have to turn that around. And the Dodgers are actually now that hot team. They have not allowed an actual run in so many innings now. I think it's like 33.
33, tied for the record for longest postseason stretch without allowing a run.
I mean, that's just absolutely nuts. And as far as this actually Dodgers pitching staff and then their bullpen, I've talked a lot of shit about them. And as far as numbers wise, they're still not good.
Eat shit. They've made us eat shit. They've been winning, but still haven't been good.
They're still when you just look at everything, they're still not good. But they've been piecing it together very well. And right now, this is one of those games where, as far as the model goes, value play would have to be Mets. But in the playoffs here, you have to ride the hot team. And to me, right now, the Dodgers they're actually obviously the hot team. Money line has come down a little bit on them currently. Looks like you can get them at a -138. And I'm just going to have to play that.
I understand that completely. I, unfortunately, am going the other way. To me, today is the Mets Super Bowl. I know it's a different sport and a different comparison, but today is everything for this Mets team. They absolutely need to win this game. Excuse me. They can't go back to New York down 2-0. They have been the hot team. They've gotten it back. Every time they've looked bad in a game this postseason, they've turned it around the next game. I do anticipate them to have a big game today. This is the early game. It starts at 4:08, so we will get to dive into this one before the night slate. But I do think the Mets will get it done. Not a big fan of Ryan Brazier, the starter for the Dodgers. We all see here he has a 5 ERA in the postseason. The Dodgers hit for him last time he was out there. They did a great job. But can they do that again? I think the Mets offense will be a little bit more alive today. They're going up against a righty. We all know this Mets offense has a ton of good left-handed hitters. They have Lindor. They have Nemo. They have guys that can really hit the ball on the left side of the plate, and I think that's what we're going to see today. This game's really going to come down to Sean Manaea, in my opinion. He was great in his 2 outings so far this year. He has 12 innings pitched this postseason and has only allowed 9 hits and 2 walks and has 10 Ks. So he's striking out almost 1 batter per inning. If he has a big game, it's going to be hard for the Dodgers to win, in my opinion, because I think the Mets will get some runs on the board today. I know the Dodgers are going for that historic streak of over 33 innings in a row without giving up a run. That's going to end today, and I think that the Mets are also going to pick up a win today. Ben, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like everything you guys both said about this game. You guys both made great points on it. My favorite play in the game is actually probably going to be the over, but I'm not confident enough to actually bet it. That's just if I had to pick something. However, I've been looking at a lot of props in this game, and probably my favorite prop in this game is going to be Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases. You can actually get that plus 125 right now. You're getting a pretty good number on it because we know that Mookie Betts, when he gets hot, he is hot. And in that, well, he's not technically leadoff anymore. 1 or 2 spot. He'll probably be 2 again tonight. He's done really well at the top of the order for them. And he, coming into the postseason, he was ice cold. I believe it was 0-18 coming into the postseason. And then he went 0-2 in his first game, 0-4 in his second. He was like 0-23 or something like that. And then he kind of caught fire. At the end of that San Diego series and coming into this Mets series, he's been hitting way better now. He has an extra base hit in 3 of the last 4 postseason games. And he has the most at-bats against Sean Manaea tonight of any hitter in this lineup for the Dodgers tonight. He has 35 plate appearances against him. And in those 35, the number one thing I'm always looking for when I'm taking baseball props is, does that player have low strikeout rate and a low walk rate against the opposing pitcher? And he does. He only has 2 walks in those 35 plate appearances against him. And he only has an 8% strikeout rate, only 3 strikeouts in those 35 plate appearances. He's also hitting .313 off Manaea, with 7 of his 10 hits against him being extra base hits. I mean, this is like a tailor-made prop for Mookie Betts tonight. I love this one. The price is good because you're in the postseason. Those hit props, especially the bases, always kind of have a little bit less juice on them, and that's what we're getting in this spot. So I love that play tonight.
I respect it. So we have a lot of different opinions on this game. We have some props, so we will definitely be excited to break this one down tomorrow when we get back on the air. Let's keep it moving right along, fellas, to the second game of the day, the game that everybody in the country has been waiting for since the Yankees clinched over the Royals, and that's everyone's favorite team, the New York Yankees, taking on the Cleveland Guardians in New York tonight. Pitching for the Guardians is Alex Cobb. He is 0-1 in the postseason with a 6 ERA. On the other side, Carlos Rodon. He comes into this game 0-1 with a near 10 ERA. He has a legitimate 9.82 ERA in one start this postseason. He went a whopping 3.2 innings. He gave up a whopping 7 hits. He did have 7 strikeouts. He looked great in the first 3 innings. But after those first 3 innings, it went downhill really fast for Rodon. Ben, we'll start with you. What do you like in this Yanks-Cards game tonight?
Well, tonight, for this game, I'm going to another prop. I don't love either side. Once again, I think that we're going to have probably a low-scoring game, but at the same time, Rodon can get tagged up sometimes, and Cobb has not been great. So I can't even guarantee a low-scoring game. It could be a pitcher's duel. I don't love either side just because we don't really know what we're going to see from Cobb. He's been kind of shaky, and he hasn't even pitched as much this year. So I'm going to go to another prop and another plus money one. I'm taking Lane Thomas to go over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It's actually plus money here, plus 105. The reason I love this spot is because he's up against Carlos Rodon, who is a lefty. Lane Thomas this year has been crushing lefties. He's hitting .302 with an .878 OPS against left-handed pitching this year. He's only hitting .214 against righties. So this is like a tailor-made spot for him. Oh, and let's not forget, he had a grand slam to close out the Tigers in Game 5 of the NLDS. I mean, this guy is on fire in the postseason. He was hitting in the 5th spot, then he moved up to the 4th for that Game 5 because he's been doing so well, and then he hits a grand slam. So I think we're going to be seeing him hit 4th tonight again, which is like the prime spot in the lineup for those RBIs, especially when you have Steven Kwan and Ramirez in front of you, and Ramirez has also crushed Rodon. So there should definitely be runners on base for Lane Thomas tonight, and he's hitting over 300 against lefties. So if he gets even just a single with some guys on, he'll hit that over 1.5 RBIs without any problems. And it's plus money. Once again, you're getting plus 105 here. So I love taking plus money props. He's going to be hitting in the most prime spot against a lefty. I think this is a prop you absolutely should be on tonight. And let's hope he hits it. He has 2 back-to-back multi-hit games in the playoffs. This guy is like hitting out of his mind right now.
Yeah, I don't usually root for you to lose, but I am going to root for you to lose on that one. Guys, I am going to say my signature line here. Sometimes the best play you can make on a game is no play. When you take a look at this game in depth, you can't play the Yankees at minus 170. There's just no value at a minus 170. Also, Carlos Rodon should not be a minus 170 against a middle school baseball team. On the other side, do you really feel comfortable backing Alex Cobb, who has yet to get a win this postseason? As Ben put perfectly, he really hasn't pitched a ton this year, and he got smacked around at his only outing. He has a 6.0 ERA. I looked into the team totals. Do you really believe in the Yankees bats right now? Aaron Judge has been dead. The whole team's been relying on Giancarlo Stanton. I definitely don't feel comfortable taking an over there. And then you take a look at the other side with the Guardians. They can rough up Rodon in one inning and hit an over there as well. So I just don't see any value on this game. I think we'll learn a lot from this game today going forward with this series. But today's game, I am going to lay off. There's going to be no play for me. JD, you want to repeat my line?
Yeah. I really do here. To me, this game, just like you said, the way it's priced, the Guardians, as far as value goes, I would just have to go with them. But then again, I just cannot back them here. But then with this price with the Yankees, like you just said, you obviously cannot back them either. The model, as far as the over, it actually does like that. With actually both of these bullpens, though, I just can't back that because both of these starters probably have a really short leash. So yeah, to me, there's just with actually these lines, just really nothing makes sense here.
I agree.
So I'm definitely gonna have to pass.
I think it makes sense. I just think the bookmakers have this one pretty sharp. Yeah. I think they've figured out how this game is going to go, and I think that they've made this game pretty sharp. Great point you made there as well, that both pitchers have a pretty short leash. You take a look at the Yankees. They have Garrett Cole tomorrow, who is the team's true ace. So let's say Rodon gets in any trouble, they can quickly go to the bullpen, banking on a big start from Garrett Cole tomorrow. So I think this one is going to tell us a lot for the series. We'll be able to see how the bullpens are utilized in this game, which will help us make other predictions in the future games. But I just think this one is a tough play to take a side or a total. All right, fellas, we're moving on to the Monday Night Football game between the Bills and the Jets. This one has a million different storylines. I don't need to go into all of them, but this game has a lot of steam around it, and the line is extremely small. Ben, we're going to go over to you. What do you like in this Bills-Jets game? Do you have some props? Do you like a side, a total? What are you looking at?
Well, I have another prop in this one. It's going to be a prop-heavy show for me today. I do like the Jets. I'll be on the Jets. I already actually have a bet on them, and I'll be giving them out. So I do like the Jets in this spot, but part of that is because I love this prop a lot. And I know that, everything surrounding them with the coaching firing and the play calling firing, all that kind of stuff. People might think it plays more into Aaron Rodgers, but they've already been way more pass heavy than they should be. And I think that tonight they're going to get back to what they know and love, and that's Breece Hall. Coming off probably his 2 worst back-to-back games in his short 3-year career so far. He did have a pretty bad stretch last year too, but he didn't have Rodgers. So now that he does have him, we saw him have a decent-ish start. I mean, he got a lot of carries the first 3 weeks, but we haven't seen him really explode in a game yet. And he's faced some honestly underrated defenses. Like, you look at the 5 defenses he's faced, all 5 are very, very, very good, especially against the run. Maybe even the Titans are like the least good defense he faced, but he put up his most yards against them this year. In this spot, the thing that I love about him is that not only are the Bills bad against the run, they're bad at defending running backs who can catch the ball. They're actually allowing 62 receiving yards per game to running backs. That is easily the most in the NFL right now. Yep. On top of that, their rushing defense, especially with Von Miller out and with that suspension and other linebacker injuries, their run defense also sucks. So I bet you can see where I'm going here. I'm taking Breece Hall over 87.5 rushing plus receiving yards. I think this is the Breece Hall game. He hasn't been getting that many carries this year. They still haven't even, really gone to their backup, Braylon Allen. And so I really think this is just a Breece Hall game, getting back to what they know and love. And that run game is going to open up everything for Aaron Rodgers. So I think getting Breece Hall established in this game is key for them. This line is very, very doable for Breece Hall. He's a good pass catcher. I think he could get most of this, honestly, through the air. But either way, I think he's going to clear 100 yards from scrimmage tonight.
You want to hear a crazy stat, Ben? Breece Hall only has 45 more rushing yards on the year than Braylon Allen, and I'm kind of taking a little bit different approach as you, but I see the game script exactly how you do. We all saw the Jets media put out a post yesterday that said that this team is going to be committed to the run. They're going to go back to old school New York Jets style football and run the ball, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Todd Downing will be calling the plays for the Jets going forward. He comes over from the Titans. Who did he have on the Titans for how many years he was there? Was Derrick Henry. This guy knows how to utilize a power back. That is his specialty. That is what he does. That is what he knows. In this game, I'm all over Braylon Allen because Braylon Allen looks like the much better player than Breece Hall right now. With a shaky offensive line is the best way I can put it. They're a little shaky. Using the power back has worked a lot more. Breece Hall has not been able to break a lot of tackles. Breece Hall is extremely dangerous when you get him the ball in open space. So I think he will be heavily utilized in the passing game, which will help Ben hit his bet. But I do think in the running game, especially in the red zone, we're going to see a healthy dose of Braylon Allen. He's been very difficult to stop. Has a lot of that power back style that Todd Downing likes to utilize in his offensive scheme. And I'm taking Braylon Allen to not just score once. I'm going to take him to score twice. I'm playing it separately. You get Braylon Allen's just to score anytime touchdown at a plus 260. If you are interested in taking the second play as well, Braylon Allen to get in the end zone twice is plus 2,200. I'm going heavier on the plus 260, but I'm also taking the plus 2,200 because I could see, let's say Rodgers throws a couple deep balls. This Bills defense has been getting gashed week after week after week. We get a pass interference in the end zone. They're giving the ball to Braylon Allen at the 1 yard line. That's what Todd Downing does, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that out of this Jets offense. We all saw last weekend they had 1st and goal, and they threw the ball 3 times. That is not going to happen with Todd Downing back there with this offense. I'm also on the Jets in this game. I do think they are going to have a big performance. This Bills team just seems like they're getting worse and worse. Their injuries are getting more and more, and they are getting more decimated week by week. So give me the Jets to win this game, but I also really love Braylon Allen props in this game. So single touchdown plus 260 and 2 plus touchdowns at plus 2,200. JD, what are you looking at?
Yeah, to me, just actually like you just said, the Bills are really banged up, man. I mean, like it's like bad. And then you actually have Josh Allen, who was also actually banged up.
Yep.
He actually hit his head, man. He hit his head hard. I was kind of shocked. He actually went right back out there. But anyway.
Yep.
So, but then on the other side, you have the Jets here, and you have a team that has their coach was actually just fired. For me, that is normally a bet on spot. But, and actually, here's a question for actually y'all too. This doesn't seem like the team, like just the way the team has been playing. Like the team has still been playing hard. Actually, it's not like they like hated their actual coach and like weren't like playing hard. So I'm not sure that they're going to really get that bump. I mean, actually, like, do actually y'all think they actually will to a night? Or?
So here's how I kind of feel about that. The defense is going to look like the defense. I think the defense has been great all year, but the offense has not looked engaged. We've seen Aaron Rodgers absolutely chew up Robert Saleh on the sideline, even though he said, I was just telling him I love you. That ain't what he said. So we all have seen kind of the blow-ups on the offensive side, and I think the play calling from Nathaniel Hackett has been atrocious. There's no other way to put it. Their red zone offense has been terrible. They're dropping back in shotgun every play at 1st and goal inside the 5. It's just not looking like a smart NFL offense, and I do think with Todd Downing in there, they're going to run the ball a lot more. And JD, I'm happy you brought this up. You know Hefe Picks, who's on this show all the time. His number one trend that he loves to bet, it's very rare, but when a coach gets fired, you back that team in their first game. A lot of people play that. The team plays harder for the new guy. They want to set the tone, and he's a big proponent of that, so I wanted to drop him in here and say that. But yeah, a lot of people play it like that, and I do factor that in when I'm taking the Jets tonight. I think they're going to play a lot harder for this new regime.
So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because the team that has their coach fired, there's been not a ton of times, like Alpha said, but in their last 23 times of it, I looked it up, the team is 12-11 outright. Now, keep in mind, usually when a team is firing their coach, they don't have the weapons, or at least the team that should be as good as the Jets. Usually they're pretty bad teams that fire
Exactly.
their coach in the middle of an absolute, dog crap season, and they're going nowhere anyways. That's not even the case with the Jets here. So usually those teams, that trend, 12-11, they're already above 500. Pretty much all 23 of those have been as underdogs. And yes, the Jets technically are here. It's a very short underdog spot. But it's a much different situation for this Jets team than usual. Like even last year with the Raiders, with what we saw happen there, then they fire their coach, and then Antonio Pierce comes in. They win the first game with a blowout. So I really do think teams rally in that kind of instance, especially when the Jets know they have a playoff caliber team if they're playing well. So I think this is a good spot for them.
The most recent one I can remember in the NFL as well was that Jeff Saturday with the Colts game when that team was awful. That team was awful. And they came in, I forgot who they beat, but they were like 15-point underdogs, and they won outright that very next week. Especially in the NFL, if they like the guy that's coming in, which this defense loves the defensive coordinator who's going to be the interim coach going forward. I think that's a big part of it. I think this team really likes him. They've played for this defensive coach a lot. One question I wanted to bring up, guys, because we do have some time to kill still while we're still on the show. A lot of rumors right now about Hassan Reddick on this Jets team potentially being moved to the Detroit Lions after that catastrophic injury yesterday. Do you think that there's any possibility of a guy like Hassan Reddick going to the Detroit Lions? Because it's clear he's probably not going to be a Jet this year.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a Jet. So you might as well cut your lot. If you're the Jets, just let him go, cut your loss. Like whatever it is. Even if he does play for the Jets, what kind of locker room vibe is that going to be like? All right, you finally show up after we're 2-3 now, or well, who knows after tonight, but you finally show up after we're already struggling to start the season. It's just like, I don't feel like the team chemistry is going to be there, even if he does end up doing something with the Jets, but I would say just get rid of him, to be honest.
I'm in the same boat. You feel the same, JD?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're about to jump into some best bets to go over what we're going in today. I know we only had 3 games, but we are going to break down our best bets. If you guys have any other questions, put them in the comments like I've been saying all show. We are here to answer any of your questions. We know there's not a ton of action today, so if there's any props you like and want some insight on, drop them in the chat. We will be here. Josh is in the chat saying, do you need to start siding with the public on Sundays? I don't know, bro, because the first half of the year, if you sided with the public, you got killed. Now it's the opposite. So this is the NFL in a nutshell. You really have to take it week by week. But some weeks, the books are going to dominate. Some weeks, the public is going to dominate. We do have Parlay Prince in the chat asking for some NHL locks. Ben, you have any NHL action today?
To be 100% honest, I haven't looked at NHL yet today, but I probably will. So not right now.
I personally don't have NHL. I'm not an NHL capper. If I gave you an NHL pick, if you ever see me give you an NHL pick, don't take it. I do not cap NHL. So if you see one from my page, do not go for it. JD, any NHL from you?
Yeah, I gave the clients, I gave them the Bruins, gave them the money line at -120.
Ooh.
Not exactly sure where it's at now, but I would play that up to the -140 range.
Like it. J-Bo's in the chat asking if we like Breece Hall anytime touchdown. I think Ben likes it because his prop is on over, I believe it was 86.5, rushing and receiving, something in that range. I personally think it's the Braylon Allen game in the red zone, the bigger back. I think Braylon Allen has a ton more value at +260, but I do think that Breece Hall could get in the end zone as well. We could definitely see him get in on a screen pass or some kind of targeted throw inside the red zone for sure. All right, fellas, let's get into our best bets. Give me 1 second. Here we are obviously going to start with the great Ben. Ben, how many best bets do you have for the people today? And guys, yet again, if you still have any more questions, we will still get to them even though we're already in best bets. Drop them in the chat.
Well, I have 3, and it's going to be kind of boring for my best bets today because it's just the 3 I covered during our breakdowns because they truly are all my favorite bets today. You could actually parlay them because easily my favorite plays on the board. Lane Thomas over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, +105 in the Cleveland game. And then, of course, in the first game today, Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases. I love that prop a lot. I'm going to probably be pretty heavy on it myself. Over 1.5 bases, that's +125. You're getting a great price on that one. And then the Breece Hall in Monday Night Football over 80. This line's, by the way, jumping all over the place. Even just on the show, it's jumped up to 89.5. I'm seeing on a few places. So you need to make sure you get on that one if you're going to bet it quickly because it could end up in the 90s. But Breece Hall over 87.5 rushing plus receiving yards, -110. And that line is going wild right now.
All right. And before we keep on with best bets, Jack Dell dropping a lock in for us, saying Jack Hughes anytime goal scorer. I know that's the 1 o'clock game with the Devils that's coming up in about 30 minutes. I'll tell you, why not? Let's get a goal from Jack Hughes early in this game. Fellas, I'll go over my best bets. But first, I do want to say Ben forgot his parlay of the day. Ben's parlay of the day is the New York Jets money line, the New York Mets money line, the New York Yankees money line, the New York Rangers money line, and the New Jersey Devils money line. You can get that at a plus 2,000. Don't take that. I'm just teasing. That is not Ben's parlay. But if you're a New Yorker and you want to go for a ride today, there's always the New York parlay. And today's one of the days you can do a massive one. So I did want to drop that in here. My best bets today, guys, are going to be the Jets money line at minus 102. I'm going to be taking the New York Mets money line at plus 120. And then I am going to be taking Braylon Allen anytime touchdown as plus 260 as my 3 best bets. JD, what do you got for the people today?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the actual Jets game. I actually didn't actually quite finish there. I do have the Jets favored. The actual model has them favored by actually 1.9. The model has been very high on actually them the whole entire season so far. And I have personally only actually bet on them once. That was that actually Thursday night game of actually theirs. So the Jets money line would be the only way that I could play the Monday Night Football game. I doubt I get there though. So then saying that, I only have one play to actually day, and actually that's going to be the Dodgers. The line keeps going down. I haven't locked it in yet. It's down to minus 135. Actually, some places now. So I'm probably going to wait a little bit to see if that line keeps on going down. But yeah, that is going to be my one play today.
I respect it. JD taking a low volume approach today. Not a ton of games, going for the best possible play you could find. We all love that. And guys, that's going to wrap it up for our Monday edition of Across the Board. We broke down the baseball games. We broke down the Monday Night Football games. We got into some props in both. And I appreciate Ben and JD for hopping on here with me. We'll be back tomorrow, fellas. Same time, same place. JD, say goodbye to the people.
Let's fucking win.
Let's fucking win. Let's get it, everyone. And Ben, smile. You beat me to it. He was already smiling. Let's cash, everyone. And let's go, Yankees!